You are on a vacation with your family on a yacht in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. All around you is nothing but blue water, a light breeze, and everything seems perfectly normal. And then, suddenly, in an instant, everything changes. A family is on their yacht in the middle of the sea. Father Tom, Mother Julia, daughter Cassie, and young son Ben. They have come to the middle of the ocean to celebrate Ben's birthday. Everyone is happy. Tom and Ben are busy fishing, Cassie is listening to music with her headphones on, and Julia gets into the water to swim. At first, everything seems normal. Julia is floating peacefully on the water when she suddenly feels something strange, as if something very large is moving around her. She looks around but sees nothing. She convinces herself it's just an illusion. A few seconds later, that same strange feeling returns, stronger this time. The water is calm on the surface, but Julia's fear begins to grow. She immediately starts swimming toward the yacht when suddenly an unseen force grabs her leg and starts pulling her down. Julia panics and screams loudly for help, but her voice reaches no one. Cassie is enjoying the sunlight with her headphones on. Tom and Ben are so busy fishing they don't even realize Julia went into the water. Julia tries to stay above the surface, but water begins to fill her mouth, making it difficult to scream. In just a few seconds, she is drifted far away from the yacht. She clearly feels the seawater moving backward in a strange way, as if there is a massive movement happening below. The equipment kept on the yacht also begins to change direction slightly. Gradually, Julia drifts further away. Then, in a lucky moment, Tom hears her faint voice. He immediately turns around and recognizes Julia struggling. Without wasting time, he calls the children, tells them to move the yacht in her direction, and jumps into the water himself. Tom reaches Julia quickly, stabilizes her, and they both swim toward the yacht together. On the other side, Ben starts the engine and brings the yacht closer. As they get near, Ben and Cassie pull both of them up. Julia's life is saved, but the sea is still not completely normal. After pulling Julia up, the whole family looks after her. She is still in shock but convinces herself that it was probably just due to strong waves. Tom gives a clear warning that no one will swim again without informing others. Cassie feels guilty because she was wearing headphones. Everyone agrees, and to normalize the atmosphere, they start preparing to celebrate Ben's birthday that night. At night, the cake is cut, and some laughter returns, but the restlessness of the sea can still be felt. Just then, Cassie receives a video call from her boyfriend. She takes the laptop and goes outside the yacht. Dark clouds are visible over the city on the screen, and her boyfriend warns that the news is reporting something very unusual. A fierce storm is seen approaching in the background. Cassie gets scared, but suddenly the call glitches, freezes, and the connection is cut. She immediately tells the family. Tom says the signal might be weak because they are far from land. But then, everyone hears a strange sound from outside. They come onto the deck and see a large group of whales passing by their yacht. Tom explains that whales always follow the Earth's magnetic field, but they get confused when there is a major disturbance in nature. At that moment, the yacht shakes violently and Ben falls. Tom doubts that something hit the bottom of the yacht. He immediately dives down to check. After a while, he returns to the surface, but there is a deep cut on his shoulder. Julia immediately applies stitches. Tom says that underwater, he felt as if a massive creature was moving behind him. A large dent is visible under the yacht. The engine is damaged. Now they are stuck in the middle of the sea. Julia tries the radio repeatedly. Cassie searches for a signal on her phone, but communication is completely down. Suddenly, Cassie screams after seeing a strange figure, but it turns out to be just Ben playing a prank in a mask. A broken voice is heard on the radio, but the clarity is so poor that nothing can be understood. Then, something is detected on the radar, and a strange high-pitched sound is heard. The whole family rushes out and watches in shock as balls of fire fall from the sky. At first, they mistake them for meteors. Huge explosions occur wherever they fall. An object falls into the water very close to them. Tom immediately tries to start the engine. The engine barely runs, but then another object hits the area. The yacht shakes violently, and the family clings to each other. At that moment, Tom realizes these are not meteors, they are satellites. And if satellites are falling, something very big has already happened in the world. Just then, Ben notices smoke coming from the back of the yacht. Tom checks immediately and confirms the engine is completely ruined. The wind suddenly picks up, and the family hides inside the cabin. No one notices that the compass is spinning rapidly, as if the direction itself is changing. The yacht begins to shake violently. Ben falls again and gets injured this time. Waves are crashing hard against the yacht. Tom struggles to go outside and brings life jackets. Then the power goes out, and the entire cabin is plunged into darkness. Tom immediately presses the button on the power box, and the lights return. At that moment, Ben sees blood flowing from Julia's nose. Julia begins to feel dizzy. Cassie runs to the sink and vomits. Tom keeps trying the radio, but no signal is found. Suddenly, a sharp high-pitched noise echoes, and the wind becomes even stronger. Julia tries to close the doors, but a hatch flies open, and the wind starts breaking the windows. Tom lights a flare. After a few moments, total darkness falls, followed by a terrifying jolt. Everything shakes, a loud sound echoes, and the entire family loses consciousness. When they regain consciousness, they are alive. They have injuries, and there are small and large holes in the yacht, but no water is coming inside. Everyone steps out in shock, and the sight before them is nothing less than a nightmare. The sea has vanished. The yacht is now stuck on land. All around is dry seabed, scattered fish, pits, and mountain-like protrusions. It's as if they have arrived in another world. Where there was water until last night, there is now dry earth. Cassie checks for a signal on her phone, but the network is completely down. Then sees two dead crabs and can't understand what happened. Tom takes out the compass and sees that it has reversed. The positions of the north and south poles have swapped. Because of this, all the seawater has shifted to the other side. Tom explains that where people used to live on land, there will now be sea, and those who were there probably didn't survive. Hearing this, Cassie breaks down. She becomes convinced her boyfriend is no longer in this world. She locks herself in the cabin. Now they begin to understand that what happened wasn't just a storm, it was a global level change. Cassie is shattered by her pain, and when Julia tries to comfort her, she pushes her away and goes to hide alone. Meanwhile, Julia and Tom check the remaining supplies. They have limited food and water left. Ben ties his birthday balloon to a stone and releases it into the air, hoping that perhaps a survivor might see them. Tom tries the radio once more. This time, unexpectedly, a signal connects. A man's voice is heard on the other side. His name is NAAV, and he is the captain of a submarine. His submarine is also stuck on dry land. He confirms that the Earth's magnetic poles have reversed. This is why the ocean receded, and the land was submerged elsewhere. He says communication systems are completely down, and he hasn't seen any other survivors yet. The most terrifying thing he mentions is that the poles will reverse again, and in about a week, the sea will return to its place. But when the water returns, its waves will be extremely dangerous. The captain warns them to get to high ground as soon as possible, because no one on low ground will survive. He mentions his partner died in the crash, and there is only room for 3 people in the submarine. Hearing this, Tom and Julia request him to somehow save their children. The captain gives coordinates. Tom calculates that it will take about 2 to 3 days to reach there. He tells the family to rest tonight, and they will leave in the morning. The next morning, as the family is packing, Tom sees some movement nearby. A limping man holding a harpoon, with a dog that is barking continuously. Tom, thinking the man is injured, steps forward to help. He offers a bottle of water. The man says something in a strange language that Tom doesn't understand, but as soon as he drinks the water, he suddenly hits Tom on the head with the bottle and gives him a powerful kick to the face. In an instant, the situation changes. What Tom thought was help turned out to be death. Julia runs in fear, but it's too late. The man has already thrust the harpoon into Tom's stomach. Tom writhes for a few moments, and then the brute slits his throat. Everything ends in just a few seconds. Now the man runs after Julia and throws the harpoon, which hits her in the shoulder. Despite the pain, Julia composes herself and runs inside the yacht. She immediately tells the children to hide in the cabin and locks the door. Cassie and Ben hide inside the sofa. Julia hands Cassie a flare gun and hides in the bathroom with a knife. Loud thuds hit the door. In a few moments, the man breaks in. First, he sees the food and pounces on it like a hungry animal. Then he starts searching the entire yacht. Finally, he moves toward the bathroom, but Julia has already exited through a small hole. He thinks Julia has escaped, but his dog spots her and starts barking. The dog lunges at her, and out of necessity, Julia kills it with the knife. Hearing the dog scream, the man comes out. Seeing his dog's corpse, he goes mad. Meanwhile, Julia climbs up the other side of the yacht and tries to enter through a broken window, but the man gets there first. He grabs her and punches her hard. Julia falls down. She tries to save herself by grabbing furniture, but he kicks her away. He steps on her wrist so she drops the knife, grabs her hair, slams her face into the ground, throws her onto the sofa, and starts strangling her. The children hidden in the cabin see all this, and then Cassie musters her courage and fires the flare gun. The flare hits the man directly. He catches fire, and fire starts spreading in the yacht as well. The children get a chance. They run outside. Julia returns, kicks him down, grabs the map and bag, and flees with the children. Reaching outside, Ben and Cassie collapse near their father's dead body. All 3 cry, hugging Tom one last time, but the danger isn't over. The burning man comes out of the yacht again. The family flees once more. Moments later, the burning yacht is blown up in a massive blast. A short distance away, they stop at a small spot. Ben blames himself, thinking the man came to them because of the balloon. Julia explains it wasn't his fault, but then she sees that the killer is still following them. All 3 run again. On the way near a dry pond, Ben stops to look at a dead hammerhead shark. Dead sea animals and plastic accumulated from the ocean floor are scattered everywhere. This world is no longer recognizable. While running, they reach an area with toxic water. They have to pass through it. Crossing the toxic ground leaves them in a terrible state. Julia notices Ben is close to dehydration. When she checks the water bottle, she is shocked. The water is almost finished. Cassie realizes she might not have closed the bottle properly. Julia screams in anger. Cassie is broken and says they might not survive at all. An argument ensues, but they don't stop walking. Ahead, they see a crashed plane. At first, they are scared, but there are only a few birds inside. They decide to spend the night inside the plane. They share some snacks. Julia finds a family photo in Tom's jacket. Seeing it breaks her heart. Cassie softly asks how their mom and dad's love story began. With a slight smile, Julia tells her that Tom was once her patient, and one day he expressed his love with flowers in a short poem. Sitting in the darkness of the plane, all 3 realize their old world is gone and the real survival has just begun. The night has grown deep. Cassie goes out of the plane, perhaps to get fresh air, but in the dark, that same terrifying man appears again. He tries to grab her from behind when suddenly Julia pounces from behind. This time, there is anger instead of fear on her face. She stabs him with the knife repeatedly until the man stops moving. Cassie is trembling. She hugs her mother to calm her down. It seems the danger is over, but what they see in the morning is even more terrifying. Insects are crawling on the man's corpse, and there are deep bite marks on his body as if something ate him from the inside. And as they move forward, small crabs crawl out of his mouth. Now it's clear that humans aren't the only danger in this area. A few hours later, Julia and Cassie are looking at the map. Ben slowly moves ahead. He sees a pond and, without thinking, leans down to drink water. Julia screams and runs to pull him back. She explains that unknown water could be poison. The sun gets hotter. They cover their heads with clothes. Ben's condition worsens. He gets dizzy. They find some old chairs and Julia makes a temporary shelter. She gives Ben an injection and decides they will stay there for the night. In the morning, Julia hears a strange sound. She looks out and sees a massive swarm of crabs moving toward them. She immediately wakes the children and all 3 start running. While running, they see a large cargo ship. 3 crew members are alive there. One woman wants to help, but the other 2 men refuse. They lock the container and leave the family outside. The crabs have reached them. Julia helps the children onto the top of the container. As she tries to climb up herself, a crab bites her leg hard. The children pull her up. Gunshots are heard from inside the container. The crew members are firing, but the number of crabs is too large. In a few moments, they overpower them. Julia ties her wound with a scarf and loses consciousness. When she wakes up, a sandstorm is blowing all around. For a moment, she can't see the children. She panics, grabs a dead woman's weapon, and screams until Cassie returns. Cassie says they went to look for help, then finds an open container where they can hide until the storm ends. Julia takes out Tom's lighter and burns her wound to seal it. The pain is unbearable, but she makes no sound. After the storm, they find another container with water bottles, a radio, and a gun inside. Now they have a small chance of survival, but they must hurry because the danger crawling on the ground is not over. Julia contacts Captain NAAV again via radio and tells him their map is lost. NAAV says they were attacked by arthropods. These are the sea creatures that mutated upon contact with oxygen and have become completely aggressive. He warns that the sea is going to return sooner than expected. They have only a few hours left. To show the direction, NAAV shoots a flare. A shining flare in the distant sky becomes their last path. The family starts walking in that direction. After a long walk, they see the submarine in the distance, but to reach it, they must cross a dangerous rocky path. As they pass through the rocks, the ground shakes, stones start falling, and a terrifying rock slide begins. Julia immediately pushes the children aside, but a massive boulder falls between them and a wall of rock separates them. Julia tells the children to go on without her. Cassie refuses. An argument ensues, but time is short. Finally, Julia makes them promise and sends them ahead. Out of necessity, Cassie runs toward the submarine with Ben. Arriving there, they see Captain NAAV lying outside, covered in blood. In a weak voice, he says he has no chance of survival. There is only room for 3 people in the submarine. He tells the children to get inside immediately. Cassie feels guilt and doesn't want to go in without her mother. She runs back. Meanwhile, Julia sees a massive swarm of crabs approaching. She grabs the gun and starts firing. Many crabs fall, but there are too many. Just then, Cassie reaches out from above. Despite her injured leg, Julia starts climbing. Cassie pulls her up. All 3 run toward the submarine. Ben stands on top and fires to keep the crabs away. As soon as the family gets inside, Julia fires until the last bullets are gone. When the ammo runs out, she throws the gun and closes the hatch. Outside, crabs climb onto the submarine's body and start biting it, and then the earth trembles. The sea is returning. From a distance, a wave hundreds of meters high approaches them. All 3 fasten their seatbelts and hold hands. The wave hits the submarine, everything shakes, a sharp, high-pitched sound echoes, and the family loses consciousness. A while later, Julia opens her eyes. Cassie and Ben also regain consciousness. They are alive. They open the hatch, and what they see outside is nothing less than an apocalypse. The wave has washed the submarine into a ruined city. Broken buildings, silent streets, no sign of humans. But the 3 of them are alive, and as long as there is breath, there is hope. Imagine you are on a vacation with your family on a yacht in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. All around you is nothing but blue water, a light breeze, and everything seems perfectly normal. And then, suddenly, in an instant, everything changes. A family is on their yacht in the middle of the sea. Father Tom, Mother Julia, daughter Cassie, and young son Ben. They have come to the middle of the ocean to celebrate Ben's birthday. Everyone is happy. Tom and Ben are busy fishing, Cassie is listening to music with her headphones on, and Julia gets into the water to swim. At first, everything seems normal. Julia is floating peacefully on the water when she suddenly feels something strange, as if something very large is moving around her. She looks around but sees nothing. She convinces herself it's just an illusion. A few seconds later, that same strange feeling returns, stronger this time. The water is calm on the surface, but Julia's fear begins to grow. She immediately starts swimming toward the yacht when suddenly an unseen force grabs her leg and starts pulling her down. Julia panics and screams loudly for help, but her voice reaches no one. Cassie is enjoying the sunlight with her headphones on. Tom and Ben are so busy fishing they don't even realize Julia went into the water. Julia tries to stay above the surface, but water begins to fill her mouth, making it difficult to scream. In just a few seconds, she is drifted far away from the yacht. She clearly feels the seawater moving backward in a strange way, as if there is a massive movement happening below. The equipment kept on the yacht also begins to change direction slightly. Gradually, Julia drifts further away. Then, in a lucky moment, Tom hears her faint voice. He immediately turns around and recognizes Julia struggling. Without wasting time, he calls the children, tells them to move the yacht in her direction, and jumps into the water himself. Tom reaches Julia quickly, stabilizes her, and they both swim toward the yacht together. On the other side, Ben starts the engine and brings the yacht closer. As they get near, Ben and Cassie pull both of them up. Julia's life is saved, but the sea is still not completely normal. After pulling Julia up, the whole family looks after her. She is still in shock, but convinces herself that it was probably just due to strong waves. Tom gives a clear warning that no one will swim again without informing others. Cassie feels guilty because she was wearing headphones. Everyone agrees.